do the pledge.
We're here now.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Could we backdrop behind you?
I know. Oh, that's the first thing I said to Vinny when I came in.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
It is.
What size is that thing?
It's gigantic. I feel like I'm at a press conference.
We're trying to make you feel
Wish it-
professional.
Wish we were signing our letter with intent. Where are we going?
We on then? Tell us when. Good.
All right. Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 4:34. If we could, we'll stand and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic which it
This
stands,
stands one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. The first set of minutes was for the governance committee meeting on October 8th. They should be in your packet. You can take a second if you haven't reviewed them to review them. They were pretty easy minutes this time.
Matt, do you want me to just do a roll call first?
Sure.
Chairman Beck,
Yes.
Carol Shinneman, I see her there.
She might be on mute.
Robert Harris,
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
yes. Cheryl Reese,
Present.
Mark Kowalczyk,
Present.
Amanda Riccio,
Present.
Lori Weingart.
Present.
Okay, I think I unmuted. Can you hear me now?
We got you.
Gotcha.
All right.
Thanks, Andy. Then now we'll go back to the minutes for the governance committee meeting on October 8th. We have a motion to approve the minutes from the governance committee.
I'll offer that, Matt.
Thanks, Mark. A second. Thanks, Amanda. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. The minutes are approved. For the regular board meeting on October 8th, 2020, the minutes are in here. We'll take a minute to review them. If there's anything that needs to be changed, let us know.
There were just several typos, minor typos in there, but other than that, I would make the motion to accept it.
You are the best, Bob.
I'll second it.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The minutes are approved. Next thing is communications.
There were no chairs.
And we don't, no communications. So the next piece is public comments. I didn't see anyone on there from the public, but I'm going to give a minute because we're just seeing the full screen of our board members right now. Going to take that as no public comments tonight. There is no chairs report this month. Director's report.
Yeah, just one thing under the director's report is we did get word from Borrego Solar with regards to the lease option agreement that they had with us in the back of the Glen Park. They've done a lot of their due diligence in relation to the wetland issues back there, and then they were working with National Grid on the substation upgrades that they would have needed to do at the Center Street substation and Fonda, and those costs, after they evaluated them, were too substantial to proceed with the project. So we did get official word from them via email that they are abandoning that project in the back of the Glen Park. So we do have some other interest from potential solar companies. So we'll see where that actually goes.
Excuse me, Ken, could you send me a copy of that so that I can close out my file too? That would be very helpful. Thank you.
Yep, will do, Joe.
Anyone else have any comments or questions for Ken? Financial reports, Sheila?
Yes, so, oh, jeez. Maybe I should unmute. Okay, can everybody hear me if I talk like this?
I can hear you.
Okay,
I
all right,
hear
so
you.
yeah, the financials are enclosed in your packets. You'll see November's are included. This will be the last time that you get the reports until probably March or April for year-end auditing. The revolving loan fund report looks actually better as of today's date than it did as of November 30th. Everyone is current, so with the exception of number one, who is still the one payment behind. I did receive an email from him, same old thing. They're still working hard, to get things done. He was going to send me a video of the progress. I have not received the video yet, but we'll, continue to keep in touch with him.
Sheila, have we been hearing any feedback from any or all of them about, struggles with the pandemic or revenues and such?
So no, not really. I mean, at the beginning, back in March, we had some people call, some borrowers call. We did do the 4-month extension, but since then, everyone's caught up to date, with the exception of that one. Executive group has paid off, and they've moved on to, doing some consolidation. So they paid off that loan so that they could have the real property. And I heard from Eisenadler finally, and they're moving along. They had some equipment setbacks, I guess you could call it. But other than that, they seem to be in full strength, and they're looking forward to opening up probably the first quarter.
Okay. Do you know, with the equipment, I know that was one of their, they were going with that special system there where makes
Yeah.
it, they did end up going with that brand of equipment?
Yes, as far as I know, it's still the same one.
Okay, good.
Yeah, she's just said that she indicated that they've been approved. Let's see, the tanks were on delay because of the COVID, the ordering and things like that, she said. So she didn't indicate that they were anything different than what, she had originally planned. And then she just indicated that they've been approved through the federal TTB license, and they were just waiting on the state. So, but yeah, their intent was to continue moving forward, and hopefully in the first quarter of 2021.
Okay.
But as far as, we had the loan program, we did for the PPE. Nobody took advantage of that through the county loan fund. And I know that we're having we're having a webinar for the state funds coming up in a couple of weeks. So we'll see if anybody's interested in that.
Okay.
There hasn't been any interest in loans anyways, and everyone, all of them seem to be, moving along at this point. Hopefully there's not another setback, but everyone seems to be doing okay.
Okay. Just one other one, maybe we can tie it in with the marketing report, but I was just curious with the holiday season, are we going to try to focus on Lee shops at all with the Made in Montgomery?
Well, I mean, we've done the, shop local, and we've had them on Facebook as, one of the supporters of signing up for Buy It in Montgomery. I don't know that we've been doing anything.
Didn't that news station go out there as well last week?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the clip on their Facebook page. they had the Spectrum News out there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no.
That it did a nice write-up for the chamber.
Oh, that's, you know what, I'm, one of the downsides of me getting off of Facebook, I did not see that, so, no.
Yeah, so they did a nice, well, they had it during their newscast, and the news reporter did, you know, a whole spiel on what is that called, that chamber program? The chamber did a program similar to ours for their chamber members. And so they went out there and they did a whole news article, in and out, you know, kind of a thing. They talked about some of the Christmas tree shop. They talked about some of the other shops, the toy store and things like that. And it was really good. So if you get time to go out on their Facebook page and check it out, it was really a nice story, and it kind of gave me some props.
Oh, great, thank you. Sorry to interrupt the meeting, but I just wanted to ask.
It's great
Anytime,
questions.
No problem. So I think that's all I have then.
Any other questions on the financial reports, either the financial report itself or the revolving loan funds? All right, thank you. Marketing report, Vin?
Yeah, so kind of just going off of, kind of what Mark's question, we did launch obviously the Buy It in Montgomery County program. So that website is up and running, and we've been making a bigger push lately to get more people signed up. So we did some paid Facebook advertisements. We sent out more letters recently to different businesses throughout the county to encourage them to sign up. And we also did a promotion through the end of this week where if you sign up through this week and have signed up before, you're going to be entered in a drawing where we're going to do 2 promotional videos in-house through our office for the business that wins that drawing. So in the next couple of weeks, you'll probably see 2 different promotional videos from us for 2 businesses throughout the county. So we're still pushing that hard, and we'll continue to keep pushing that website throughout the year and next year as well. We also, as you can see, have a backdrop behind us. We got some marketing materials for when we can see people in person again and go to trade shows, different things like that. And also, if we're going to be having more Zoom meetings, it's nice to have some type of professional backdrop behind us. So we got that, a tower, and a tent as well. So we've been working on that. Also, the child care study, just a quick update on that. We got a rough draft back from Des Moines, and we don't have a ton of information to report back because we have a call with them next week to go over the draft and make any necessary changes throughout that. So at next month's meeting, we'll have more information on what came of that report. We're also continuing the Small Business of the Month program, which has actually gotten a lot of traction throughout the county. Everyone on Facebook, even in the press and newspaper, a lot of people have taken notice of that program. So just so you guys are aware, last month was the Sportsman's Den in Fort Plain, and this month we'll be announcing Fort Plain True Value Hardware for what they do with the Christmas, everything that they do in the community. So that's been a good program, giving a lot of press to some of the small local businesses throughout the county. So we'll continue that going forward as well. And I think that's, am I missing anything else?
You're good.
Yeah.
I would just say that Small Business of the Month has been getting a lot of play. People ask about it all the time when I get a chance to be out and about. You've done a really good job on that. And even the Sportsman's piece, it was a great write-up of the history of her, like her background. Just really, I think it's been really nice to learn more about the county and the businesses that are within it. So it's been a great initiative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone have any questions on any of the marketing report? Great, thanks, Vinny. Unfinished business?
Yeah, just a couple of things to follow up on. We sent you an email with relation to communications we received from Crown Castle. as it related to the cell tower lease at the Florida Business Park. And basically, in a nutshell, what they're saying is that the reason that they did reduce the lease payments on that is because it's an underperforming cell tower, because if you remember, Sprint and T-Mobile are going through a merger and they're looking at which cell towers to drop. Apparently Sprint is the only one on that cell tower, and right now their feeling is that it's a 60% chance that they'll even continue operations on that cell tower. So they're trying to make that cell tower positive as far as revenue to Crown Castle and obviously the cell company. So I mean, we can open it up for discussions, what we want to respond to them, if we want to keep the lease payments the way, the counter offer that we had to them, and then just take the chances, because it doesn't sound like there's a very good chance it's going to remain a cell tower under their lower rate. So, I mean, I don't know if Attorney Scott wants to weigh in on it. He has the email too as well, and just get his thoughts quickly.
Ken, I have a question.
Okay.
This lease that they're looking to renew, is this for another 20 years or is this a shorter term lease?
I think it was, what was that, Joe?
Yeah, it was 20 years. Yes, 20 years. So they've come back to us and reduced the number that they agreed to when they first started this process?
No, they went back to the number that they proposed to begin with.
Oh, that we thought was mathematically incorrect, right?
Correct. Yeah, it was a deliberate number that they put in there, and that was the reason why. I mean, that was their reason why. I mean, my thoughts are, let's stick to our guns. I mean, I did ask them. I said, so if the cell tower, if they decide to drop this tower, you're gonna have to take it down, correct? And they said
Yeah.
yes. So they're gonna have an expense.
Exactly.
So,
I mean,
so my thoughts are, is I say we go back and say these are our terms. You know what I mean? I mean, that's my thoughts.
yeah, I think this is a business issue.
I think we should
I
give
thought-
them shorter term on the lease.
Bob, did you have,
Yeah,
were you trying to say something, Bob?
I've got a bad internet connection, but what I was going to say is if we agree to their terms, can't we do it for a shorter time period? I don't think we should lock ourselves into 20 years.
And Joe, I know you had something that you would like to say, so I'm going to let you have the floor for a minute here.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I mean, candidly, this is a business term. I thought the original number that they had in there was a mathematical error. So when they redid the lease and sent it back to us, the number then made sense. So apparently they've now gone back to the original number and made the rest of the paragraph make sense. I think it's really a question of, how much money you want to generate out of this, and if it's not worth your time, then let's call their bluff and shut it down.
Does anybody else want to weigh in?
I would agree with Ken and Joe.
I know I had a brief conversation with Ken prior to the meeting just to get a little background on this, and I sort of felt the same way as far as let's call their bluff, let's see what's going on with this, the usage. Bob brings up a point of, does it make sense to reduce the years? So that way we can say to them, we'll give you a little bit less time on this so that if it's still losing money, you've got another chance to, so it's the give and take, right? We're going to ask for the dollar amount that we want, but that in return, we can say to them, since you're thinking you may be losing money, we'll reduce the length to a 10-year, as opposed to the 20-year.
Right, because a lot can turn around in 20 years.
Well, not, I'm just saying from a negotiation standpoint with the
Right.
company, if they're saying they're losing money, this gives them an opportunity in 10 years to say,
Right.
you know, we really did lose money. Can we get to a lower price, right?
And then if at the end of 10 years, the economy's better, we can change the lease terms then. Right, I agree with you, Matt.
So I kind of like to call their, I mean, you know, I don't know if this needs to be an action item for this month, but, you know, maybe what we can do is if no one's opposed that for, at our next meeting, if it requires that it be an action item, that we work out a 10-year with the numbers that we originally wanted.
Yep, I agree with you, Matt.
Joe, does that make sense as far as the steps that we're taking in an appropriate manner?
Well, I think, Chair, you could certainly direct Ken as, you know, as the CEO to continue his negotiations and to go as far as keeping the same amount, but going down to a 10-year term and then report back.
Perfect. And if no one objects or has a strong stance in a different way, I'd like to be able to do that as a board, to ask Ken to reach back out and lay out those.
I agree.
I support that. I support that
agree.
action as well.
So it sounds like we have a direction. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do
And
that.
then next month that we meet, you know, Ken will update us on where we're at with them. Anything else
Oh,
under
yeah.
unfinished business? Ken?
One other one, Joe, and this is for you. I've got a couple of questions with regards to the MC3, where we stand with that, and the MCEDC from a couple board members. So I know they had they had some questions as to where we were at with that.
Yes. Thanks, Ken. The action that, and I was going to ask for this under unfinished business, because you and I have been exchanging emails on getting this thing back going here. We adopted a resolution some time ago where we appointed the IDA board members to be the board members of the MCEDC reconstituted so that we could move forward in wrapping that organization up and along with MC3 and then releasing the money to MCIDA. So I have gone back and reviewed my file to see where exactly we are on this. There's still some work that I need to do in terms of pushing some paper, but what I would ask the board is if they would consider, and you can do this by voice vote, because the members have changed since the resolution was originally adopted, the IDA board members. And so what I would ask is that we in effect, restate that prior resolution so that the current board members be in that position so that we can continue the process to wind up MCEDC and MC3. So the administrative act that I'm asking for at the meeting is to, again, restate the prior resolution to reflect that the current members are going to be the members of the MCEDC as part of the windup. And then I'll continue working through the documentation and the filings that we have to make with the AG's office to complete the disposition and wind up of MCEDC and MC3.
So Joe, just for clarification purposes, then it would just be a simple reaffirmation of that existing resolution that we did previous, right?
Right, and just basically changing the names instead of the board members that were in effect at that time, it's the current board members.
Okay.
And that means none of our board members can leave the board until this gets resolved.
Ken,
No.
does that require a resolution by the legislature?
No.
No.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah. Yeah. we
What
can do
you
that.
should say, Chair, is that Joe Scott can't leave and go anywhere. That's
Well, that I didn't think needed to be said, Joe.
That's right. This has been going on a long time.
Put a ball and chain on.
So we need a
Two now, my wife and this.
That's
No
great.
apologies, please.
That's great. So we're gonna put this under we will move this to new business then and ask that we'll do it under new business. And Ken, you can help me with how we're gonna do this, and Joe, just so I make sure that we get it right in the minutes. Thank you. Was there anything else under unfinished business? Great. We'll move to new business then.
Yep.
The first one is the Florida Park land transaction.
Yes, just to give you guys some background, this has been going on for a little while, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel with this. If you recall, a few years ago, we were approached by the town of Florida and actually the fire department in the district to potentially sell them that property that's at the front part of the Florida Park in front of Target and Beach Nut to build a firehouse for quicker fire suppression or emergency services up in that corridor. And what we did is back on, it was resolution 15-29, is we authorized the sale of that 2.8 acre piece to the town of Florida for those purposes. Subsequent to that, when we started doing deed searches and title searches on that, we saw that during all the numerous land transactions that occurred with that property, we saw that there was basically a filing subdivision mistake where a piece of that property was still in Target hands during that land transaction. So our attorneys have been working with Target's attorneys out of Minneapolis at their headquarters to rectify that situation. And we've finally been able to get Target to agree to, basically in a quick claim deed, get that back over, the remaining piece of that to the IDA before we can transfer that property to the town of Florida. With that, the property, and I think I did put it in the packet, if you look at the bottom, the end of that resolution, you'll see the map of the property that I'm referring to. And then you'll also see an actual concept drawing of the property. Well, if you see to the east of that property, you'll see a wetland. So the remainder of that property that we would be left with is pretty much unusable, developable space as a wetland, and it really wouldn't meet road front requirements in the town of Florida. So what we're asking is basically, let's just, be much easier and cleaner than to just transfer that full property, which is about 7 acres, to the town for their fire department at the same price that we came to an agreement on back in 2015. So that's what this resolution does. It basically authorizes us just to amend the acreage on that resolution to incorporate the 7.2 acres instead of 2.8 acres. And with that, Joe, I mean, if you have anything to add or where you're exactly at with regards to, Target's final sign off on that.
No, I think the only thing I'll add, Ken, is that this has been a long haul. A lot of it was just basically trying to get Target's attention to this. We were ultimately successful. They needed a couple of things. Ken and his team was very responsive in responding to what Target needed. It didn't expose the IDA to any liability. Just to be technical, Target is conveying interest in the property pursuant to a quitclaim deed. We're in turn going to sign a quitclaim deed to the town. So we're not exposed by way of liability. The town's getting whatever title information it needs to make sure that it feels comfortable that it's getting what it thinks it's getting. So it's kind of a long story, but it's really a reflection of Target being a big company and just, frankly, this thing not bubbling to the top for some time. But we have, we can definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel on this.
Can the wetlands be used? I mean, I know this is probably a silly question, for anything for them.
No, really.
I mean,
You can't build in them or on them without remediating the disturbance to that, going through that process. So they would have to replace those wetlands if they wanted to disturb them, and it's a costly process. So yeah,
So this is much cleaner for us. It kind of gets undeveloped land off of our hands
It
into
does.
a
Yep.
volunteer fire department that's serving some of the businesses that we've helped to bring in there.
Yes, and if you guys drive that corridor too, you'll see that the piece we're talking about, I mean, the town has been mowing it on our behalf for the past several years now, and they have just been mowing it. We haven't been charged for it or anything from the town as well. So it's it benefits our businesses and it benefits the residents in that area to have obviously a fire station much closer to where all that activity is.
And we can't do anything with it. We can't put anything to develop there anyhow,
No,
regardless. So
Yeah, regardless, I mean, the largest building we could get is what the firehouse is proposing, about a 10,000 square foot building, and we've had that property for about 15, 20 years, and there's really been no bites on it at a building that's that small size.
does anyone else have any questions from the board?
No, Chair. Everything looks good. Thank you.
Can we get a motion?
I'll offer.
Mark, thank you. Can I get a second?
Yeah,
I'll second.
Cheryl, seconds. Thank you. Andy, roll call vote on this, please.
Yep, Mark Kowalczyk,
Yes,
Chairman Beck,
Yes.
Carol Shinneman,
Yes,
Robert Harris,
Yes.
Cheryl Reese,
Aye.
Amanda Ricchio. Amanda, did you
Yes.
say aye? Oh, sorry. Lori Weingart?
Yes.
Yes, motion passed.
Thank you. The second item,
Yeah, the second item, this is gonna be more for discussion, but it'll be for action at our January regular and organizational meeting. And we waited on this to do any type of real, due diligence work with the IDA with regards to processing this land transaction. The county legislature at their meeting in November actually approved the $12.7 million bond for the shared service facility. That facility would incorporate the offices of DPW along with the offices, the Business Development Center offices, which actually, obviously contain the staff for the IDA. And, that's going to go into Glen Park. It's that basically piece that's been in the front of the Glen Park and vacant for, late 90s. So we're going back about 30 years now, obviously for many reasons why it's been left vacant, but the property in itself is, it's two parcels. One's a 14-acre parcel, the other's a 5-acre parcel. So if you pull into the park and you take a left down that cul-de-sac, it would be the property on both sides of that cul-de-sac. So just for a little bit of background, and I'll go quick with this. Back when we first did the original Glen Business Park, it was about 84 acres. And the county, as part of that, issued a bond for the development of that, of the tune of $900,000 for those 84 acres. And a part of that, those dollars to develop the park, because the IDA does own it, was that upon land sales in the park, we would, provide dollars back to pay down that $900,000 on land sales. Well, there's only been a couple of land sales in the park. And we have a due to, and you guys see it in your books and the IDA books every year. We have a due to Montgomery County of $900,000, and that's what that is, and that's what we talk about. And Montgomery County has a due from the IDA of $900,000 on their books. So our thoughts were this, and we're going to propose this to the county. The county exec, is aware of what we're proposing along with the county treasurer. So what we would do is we would deed the property, that 20 acres to Montgomery County for $1. And with that, we would prorate out, 20 acres of the 84 from that 900,000 to reduce the due to Montgomery County, and then the due from on their books as well. So that would be the proposal to start getting that down and off of our books. But we just wanted to let you know that a resolution to that effect for the IDA would be drawn up for action at our January meeting. But we just wanted to double check, make sure everybody was okay with it. I ran this by Joe, and I don't know, Joe, if you have any other thoughts or anything like that on that transaction.
I think it's something that I need to look at a little bit more carefully, Ken. But I think the 50,000 foot level, this certainly seems appropriate. You and I and Chris Canada in my office have worked on dispositions of property before. So we're going to have to make sure that we follow our policy on real estate dispositions and also the applicable New York law, and we'll work with you and your team on that.
Is there any other discussion from board members that you'd like to say as Joe is looking into this? Anything else that comes to your minds that we should be thinking of? All right. Good. So that'll be a January action item, hopefully,
Yeah,
if we can.
There'll be some type of action come January with regards to that, whether it's starting the initial process or, going full through it, depending on what Joe comes up with.
And Ken, sorry, do you know when the county wants to,
Can you repeat that, Joe?
do you know when the county wants to break ground on the construction site?
Well, what's gonna happen is this coming Tuesday, we're gonna award the construction contracts for the four contractors. And then at that point, it's probably gonna take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to actually get those contracts in place. We'll have to have a pre-construction meeting, so, depending on the weather, and we'll talk to the GC on there to see what his thoughts are with regards to any type of breaking ground and mobilization. But I mean, there is a possibility that mobilization could start sometime in January, depending on, how our weather is around here, so.
Okay, then we need to give some thought also, maybe do a license or some sort of interim lease so that they have access to the site, and obviously we can work with you and your team on that. Sure.
Yep. Okay.
All good.
Great. I think it's an exciting project for the county. I was glad to see that got passed. So, what we can do to help and offset this is great. The only other thing under new business is going to be our action item. Joe, do you want to help me to kind of word this as far as?
Absolutely, Chair. Why don't I make the motion for the benefit of the members, and then if there's I'll state the motion, and then if there's a first and a second, then we can move forward. So the motion is to supplement the resolution done previously by the IDA, appointing the members of the IDA to act as members of the MCEDC, and to in effect refresh that resolution by appointing the current members to act as the members of the MCEDC for purposes of the windup of the MCEDC matter.
Can we have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Carol. Second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Thank you, Bob. Andy, a roll call vote on this, please.
Sure. Carol Shinneman,
Yes.
Chairman Beck,
Yes.
Robert Harris,
Yes.
Cheryl Reese,
Aye.
Mark Kowalczyk,
Aye.
Amanda Riccio,
Yes.
Lori Weingart.
Yes.
Motion passed.
And Ken, I'll do a written form of the resolution for your records.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that very much. Cheryl, you always make us laugh in this room when you emphasize those eyes. So thank you. There is no further business. I just wanted to wish you all a happy, healthy 2001 holiday season, 21. I think hopefully things are a lot different than they were this year. I can't thank you guys enough. This has been a really tough year. The things that we've had to do over Zoom, the work that this office has done when it came to the PPE and keeping things moving forward has been extremely impressive in my eyes. So the highlights of 2020 for me are just watching some of this staff and what they've had to do and how they've done it and haven't missed a beat has been really, really impressive to me. So, and to the rest of our board, I just wish you guys nothing but the best this holiday season and healthy, happy 2021. So with that said, I would like a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Cheryl. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Thanks, Lori.
You're welcome.
In favor?
Aye.
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 Bye.
All right. Thank you all. Meeting's adjourned.